Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Junk Food and You. This is the podcast where I just sort of talk about whatever's on my mind in the snacking world or in the candy world. Today we're going to talk about the word extreme. And there are a few other words that go with this, but I find extreme is used the most. I've seen a few snacks out there that are extreme something, but they don't really describe a flavor. It just says extreme, like extreme is a flavor. I've seen this with potato chips a lot. You know, they'll be like extreme spicy, and it's like, what flavor is extreme spicy? Like, there are many hot, spicy things out there. There's like, you know, you can go from like a Carolina Reaper down to like, you know, lots of black pepper. All of those could be spicy and all of those could be extreme. So I feel like an extreme black pepper potato chip, nobody'd really want, but the Carolina Reapers, you know, people who really like spicy foods would want an extreme. But you wouldn't want an extreme Carolina Reaper because a Carolina Reaper is already kind of extreme. I also seem to remember once trying a Gatorade that was extreme red. That doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I guess it was very red colored, but what flavor is it supposed to be? And I guess the idea is supposed to be that like extreme means it's either going to be very sour, it's going to be very spicy, or it's going just to be very like sort of strong flavored. But it's weird how often candy companies, I feel like they just, you know, load up, because there's certain chemicals you can add to snacks and foods and stuff like that that make them spicier, sour, or you know, just increase the punch of the flavor. But those flavors don't really connect with a real food in the real world. And it's almost as if these candy companies and snack companies just sort of be like, let's just put a lot of sour in there and not sort of give it any background. Like an extremely sour lemon is great, but extreme sour doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it has to have that sort of other description. And there's so many candy companies that be like the extreme sour or extreme heat, and it's just like, and they just end there. So I always feel like it's like they're kind of cheaping out in that they've decided that they don't want to sort of associate it with a flavor. I think sometimes as well, I think Doritos has done a couple of extreme flavors, and I think generally it's their nacho cheese flavor but with more spice. So they just sort of emphasize the extreme and then sort of don't mention that it's just the nacho cheese flavors. So maybe that's like excusable, but I don't know. I'm kind of getting bored of the extreme thing. It's been happening for years. I don't think it's ever going to stop because it's a great marketing tool to get people to sort of, you know, it's sort of, when you put the word extreme on a package, you're sort of saying, I dare you to eat it. So I guess if that's the marketing thing they're going for, it makes sense. It's a marketing tool, and I tend to find there's very few extreme flavored things, even extreme, like extreme lemon, where I want to eat a bunch of them. Like, I tend to eat it and it's like, oh, I had it. And, you know, my first sort of reaction when I'm eating an extreme thing is, how extreme is it? And then, you know, my next reaction is there another flavor? And often if it is extreme and it is kind of powerful, and even if there is a secondary flavor, I kind of think I don't really want to eat it again, because often it's sort of like, I just went through a bunch of discomfort to eat this thing. And while it's kind of cool to be uncomfortable eating food, it's like, it's not like something you can sort of enjoy and sit down, like a bag of Cool Ranch, which is kind of the opposite of extreme if you think about it. Cool Ranch potato, you know, Doritos are sort of nice. Extreme heat Doritos is just going to make you sweat, and you know, you can't really relax with that, or at least I can't. I don't really like spicy foods, so maybe the spicy example isn't the best for me, but I do really like sour foods, and I still rarely will sort of seek out a lot of extreme sour foods more than once. Like, I think I kind of like it. I like that little burny flavor you get with sour, but I don't tend to like seek it out regularly. Like, I'd rather go for something a little more mild. Now, it's interesting too that, like, you know, obviously, like I said before, extreme tends to be associated with spicy, with sour, with like just a popping flavor. It'd be interesting if somebody tried extreme something else, like extremely salty or extremely, you know, cool, or, you know, I guess I think I might have seen extremely cool with gums occasionally. Now that I think about it, like minty cool gums, I might have seen extreme on that end. But I think there are so many flavors out there, like, you know, extremely potato-y, extremely ketchup, you know, anything like that, any kind of flavors, rather than just sort of, that tends to be sort of like sour and spicy tend to dominate that, and cool to a lesser extent, but even in that range. So I don't know. it's a weird thing, this extreme marketing. I don't think it's going away. I don't really like it, but I don't think it's going away because it's been happening, I think, pretty much my entire life, and it's still going on. So I don't think it's a trend that we're going to see go away anytime soon. So, but I'll still try them. But often extreme stuff, it's like I'll try it. It might have some merit, and it generally, it can be extreme. But the problem is when you label it extreme, my first reaction is, I'm going to be deciding, is this really extreme? Like the flavor will be secondary. My first thing will be like, if it says extremely spicy, I'll be like, well, if I bite into this, is it extremely spicy? If it's not, then you're already down. If you're not actually extreme, even if your flavor is good and your texture is good, the fact that you sort of promised extreme something and you didn't deliver is already sort of a possible, failing. So you're kind of putting yourself in jeopardy when it comes to like disappointing people when they eat your snack if you have the word extreme on it. So, well, there's my 2 cents on the word extreme. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks for watching. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can go to candycritic.org to find links to everything from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or whatever. You can also read well over 1,000 candy reviews, with new ones coming all the time. Candycritic.org also has links to pick up my latest books, as well as some cool candy-themed merchandise.